continuing the series of teaching by Khenpo Rangdol. So we shall begin the lesson very soon. Let me invite Khenpo Rangdol. 师兄们，今天已经是这系列的那个教课的第14课了。也就是说，下个星期五就是这个系列的最后一天的那个教课。那很随喜大家这段时间能够坚持跟这个堪布这样努力的一起学习。那我们现在就邀请这个堪布开始教授第14课，谢谢大家。Khenpo Rangdol, we are all ready for your lesson, so we invite you to begin lesson.
Yes. Okay. Everything okay, Jim?
All right, Khenpo, just give me 1 minute. I'll just...
Okay.
Khenpo, you are now the spotlight.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good evening and good afternoon, good morning, all Dharma brothers and sisters. So today is our lesson 14, which is the second last of the Gongchig teaching, and I hope all of you have been enjoying the listening teachings, and I did receive many the messages about Gongchig, and also many people enjoyed and they also learned a lot about Gongchig. So now we're going to start the lesson 14 without getting any delay. Jiden Songwan Jabla Gujo, Sarafai, Dadu Chindani, Johnson, Jonaji, Payamazo, around the dog. Choya Jabe, Jabla Gujo, Okay, so the last session, so we managed to complete the 20 Vajra statement of the from the 8th chapter, and today we are going to begin from the 21st Vajra statement. The other's view is that the people claim that once one has attained the first Bodhisattva stage, there is no more fear of the lower realms. This is the others. Some people the claim, or some people they do believe that any kind of the Bodhisattva, whether it's the female Bodhisattva or male Bodhisattva, so once they reach the first Bhumi stage, the first Bhumi is actually Raptugawa, extremely joy. Actually, there are actually 10 Bodhisattva stages, and the 11th one is the Buddhahood. So there are the different names on the Bodhisattva stage, and the first one is according to the path. The first Bodhisattva stage is called seeing path. Remember, accumulation path and application path, seeing path, cultivation path, and no more learning path. There are 5 paths and 10 Bodhisattva stage. So when we talk about the paths, and there are the 5 paths according to the Bodhisattva Mahayana level, and also the 5 path of the stages of Shavaka Buddha and Pratika Buddha. So when we talk about the stages, so that's only the Bodhisattva, because according to the Shavaka Buddha and particular Buddha, they do not have such the stages of, like, as I mentioned, like 10 Bodhisattva stages. They only believe into the 5 paths. According to their point of view, they don't believe into the stages of Bodhisattva. This is something very, special exists in according to Mahayana tradition. So some people said that when the Bodhisattva reach or attained the Bodhisattva stages, there's no more the fear of lower realm. So they don't have a fear of roaming around the lower realm, which is hungry ghost and hell being and animal. These 3 the beings are actually considered as a lower realm. The reason why is saying that, according to the Mahayana the teachings, is said that once the Bodhisattva reach at the level of first bhumi, the first stages, and Bodhisattva will free from 5 fears, is mentioned in the text. So when we talk about the free from the 5 fears, that means the first one is the Bodhisattva. Once they reach at the first bhumi level, they will be free from the fear of what do you call that? Fear of death. So they are actually gain such a power of free from death. They can, if they want to live long, they can live long. If they want to die, they can die immediately. So such a kind of the power they achieve at the stage of the first Bodhisattva level. So that means they are free from fear of death. And then the second one is free from the fear of retinue. Retinue, in a sense, sometimes when there is a big gathering in the public, sometimes some occasion also we fear to speak in front of the big gatherings, like 100,000 of people. If there are, I'm sure some people I remember that when we used to have a kind of like speech competition while we are student, and also some of the monks actually, when they stood up in front of mic, they become speechless, whatever they have memorized. So in front of the mic, they totally become forget. And I also used to experience when the first time when I stood up in front of mic, so I used to get lots of sweats, that kind of view. I think that many of us when we stood up in front of mic, so most of we happen to experience such things. So therefore, such a Bodhisattva, they are free from the retinue, and then the third one is free from that free from the fear of the other people not pleasing to you, or maybe not praising about you. So we also do have some kind of fear, like if people talk badly about us. So that's also something like if people are not pleasing about me, if people are not praising to me, so that's also some kind of fear. So Bodhisattva do not matter whether they're pleasing to them or whether they talk about bad things about the Bodhisattva. They don't fear about such things. And then also the fourth one is the free from fear of not having food. So such a Bodhisattva, they don't have any kind of like worry. They don't need to stay in a mood of hunger. So even if they don't get food, they can they can remain in the stage of samadhi food. They can consume the food of samadhi. So therefore, Bodhisattva have no fear of food. And then the last one is the Bodhisattva are free from fear of roaming around in the lower realms. So therefore, these are the 5 free from 5 fears. So therefore, some people said that the Bodhisattva, when they reach at the first Bodhisattva stage, So they no more fear to the lower realm because they gain such a quality that free from 5 fears. But the Jigten Sumgon, he said that the falling to the lower realms occurs even if one has reached a pure stage. Of course, in the Mahayana scripture also did mention that once Bodhisattva will reach at that level, they do free from 5 fears. And it's not that this kind of like statement is not pervades to all kind of Bodhisattva. That sometimes the Bodhisattva also they do need to falling into the lower realms due to the certain kind of like the karmic, the cause and conditions. The reason why I'm saying is that until and unless when the Bodhisattva reach at the stage of Buddhahood, till that Bodhisattva, they do have kind of very subtle epileptic emotions, such like obscuration. We call that latency. Kind of like latency means something like that, which remain underneath of our basic consciousness. Such a Bodhisattva, they do not have such a rough or grosser level of the obscurations, but still they do have some kind of the obscuration of like a latency of desire, latency of anger, latency of such a like remaining kind of habitual tendency in their basic consciousness. That due to the subtle obscurations, and sometimes the Bodhisattva also falling into the lower realms, even the Bodhisattva reach the pure stage. The pure stage means, actually, as I mentioned earlier, there are 10 Bodhisattvas stages, and the last 3, which is the 8th stage, and 9, and then 10th. The last 3, the Bodhisattva stage, we call is the pure or maybe excellent or something. So that means when Bodhisattva reach at the level of the 8th Bodhisattva, the Bhumi, the reason why is said that the pure stage means in the Bodhisattva have no more afflicting emotions, and then only in that kind of the Bodhisattva have only very subtle the obscurations of knowledge of object. Remember the last time we talked about there are 3 types of obscurations. The first one is the karmic obscurations. Second one is obscurations of afflicting emotions, and then third one is the obscurations of knowledge of object. So there are 3. So the first obscuration is are abandoned once the Bodhisattva reach at the first Bhumi level, and there's no more this obscuration of karmic obscurations. And then when Bodhisattva reach at the 8th Bhumi level, and then no more obscuration of afflicting emotions. So therefore, that level of the 8th Bodhisattva and 9th and 10th Bhumis level, we call is the pure stage. The Tibetan we call Tapa Sasum. The Tapa means pure or excellent. The pure Sa means Bhumi or stages. The Sum means 3. Tapa Sasum we call in Tibetan. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, here also mentioned that one of the very nice the quotation is that the quotation from that he said that the karmic ripening is inconceivable. Okay, the reason why he's saying it, this is also the quotation from the Buddha, the Sutra. If we ask the reason why such a Bodhisattva, like even who reach at such a stage of like 8 Bhumi or 9 Bhumis level, how they can be falling into the lower realm? The answer is that the Buddha said the karmic ripening is inconceivable. It's kind of beyond our conceptual thought. The law of the karma is very, very subtle. Even the 10 Bodhisattva cannot understand in the very subtle of the cause and effect of the karma. So therefore, karmic ripening is the inconceivable, is beyond our kind of knowledge. the embodiment of the compassion, which is like Avalokiteshvara too, was born among the animals. Even the Bodhisattva, such as Avalokiteshvara, also they need to reborn into the lower realm, such as animal, because of the cause of karma and the effect. Where in him too the notion of dharma arose. Okay, here is the difference. Is it the same that if someone asks that if the Bodhisattva also they need to falling into the lower realm and as they need to reborn as an animal, and then we ordinary people also reborn in the animal, what are the differences between these two beings? One is the noble beings and another one is the ordinary beings. What are the differences? Differences is where in him too our notion of dharma arose. We ordinary people, when we born into the lower realm, so we don't have a notion of dharma. But the Bodhisattva, when they born into the lower realm, and they do arises or they do arose such a notion of dharma. So that means there are difference. If there were no karma, lives would not be connected. If there's no karma, then Bodhisattva no need to born as animals. So there must be the karma. So therefore, even the Bodhisattva also need to born as animal. The ripening of the virtue is not untrue. Okay, that's more karma. So even though one has the notion of dharma, through the power of one's karma, through the power of their own karma, and they need to born into the lower realm. So this is the quotation from the sutra, which is very, very important one. So His Eminence, the late Duang Rinpoche, he always quote this quotation, Legin number member samik, Tibetan we call this one, Legin number member samik, ninja damnije no tudurke. So that means that the karmic is something. And then also Duang Rinpoche always he said that the milu, he always said that the cause and condition never be deceive us, never going to be deceived by the cause and karma. So if there are the cause and karma, so then anything can be happen. No one can deceive the karma. So Duang Rinpoche always emphasize on those teachings. So now the next Vajra statement is the 22nd. These are quite similar as the previous one. The people claim that after seeing the truth of the Dharmata, only the white path is possible. There's also again is absolutely similar as the previous one. Some people claim and they do believe that after seeing the truth of Dharmata means that the truth of Dharmata, the Tibetan we call Chungi. Chungi means Dharmata, the nature of mind or nature of state, or we can say the nature of the meaning of absolute truth, or we can say excellent, extreme, and then also sometimes we do also call that teaching is suchness. That's the Dharmata. That it could be seen at the time of the first Bodhisattva stage, as mentioned earlier. The seeing the truth, the Dharmata, only the white path is possible, and only that such a Bodhisattva, and that only the white path of the virtue, the positive karma, this kind of white path can be only possible to increase. There will be no occasion to arise his negative thoughts and committing non-virtue, and these things cannot be happen to such a Bodhisattva that who already have seen the Dharmata. But then again, the Jiten Sumgon said that if the cause even the 10 stage Bodhisattva was fall into the lower realm. Again, this is the same thing, The big as we mentioned again, if there are cause and condition is there, as already mentioned, that the Bodhisattva also they do have a latency of obscurations. In the sutra also mentioned there are 7 types of latency. This latency is called that the Tibetan we call bakshak. kind of like a habitual tendency, latency. The latency of desire, that's number one. And the latency of anger, and then latency of what do you call that? Pride, and then latency of doubt, latency latency of view, is the fifth, and then the latency of ignorant, and the last one is the latency of attachment of existing. So these are the actually 7 latencies that exist within the mental continuum of the Bodhisattva. So even the Bodhisattva that who already reached at the 10 the level of the stage, even they do have such a latency, such a like very subtle obscurations are there. So if the causing conditions comes together, and then also the Bodhisattva also can commit it such a non-virtue, and they can also falling into the lower realm. So there are actually some stories that we don't have time to explain such stories, but they do have the story that even the 10 Bodhisattva level also they're falling into the lower realm. So therefore, the Jiten Sumgon said that if they cause it, even the 10 stage Bodhisattva was falling into the lower realm. So Guru Rinpoche also mentioned that he mentioned also that as much as the realization of the Bodhisattva go higher and higher, and that much the cause and conditions of the nature will be going to be very, very fine or very, very subtle. So it does not mean that once the Bodhisattva inner realization is becoming higher and higher level, it does not mean that there's no more the cause and condition things are still exist over there. So here, here the Bodhisattva, the Dharmakirti also, he gave the 4 reasons to prove this Vajra statement. The number 1 reason is that he said the manner in which the Bodhisattva cultivate the resolve. Resolve means the resolve of mind, which is Bodhicitta. Because of the Bodhisattva cultivate the resolve, that could be the 1 reason. And then second one is that the fact that the depending origination of the cause and result is unchangeable. No one can change the law of karma. Even the Buddha cannot change the law of karma. Buddha also have to follow the cause and condition. The Buddha need to follow the karma. So therefore, it is unchangeable. Both the samsara and nirvana, the cause and the result of the samsara and nirvana cannot be changed. It's unchangeable. That could be the second reason. And then the third one is the fact that the Buddha activity is applied to the sentient beings. The Buddha activity is always applied to the sentient beings, not for oneself, in order to benefit for others. That could be the third reason. And the fourth one is because of the secret of the excel one's mind. So the excel one is the Buddha. The Buddha mind is very secret. So we cannot judge. We cannot understand the omniscient of the Buddha's mind. So therefore, due to the reason that even the 10 Bodhisattva level also can be falling into the lower realm. So this is also very, very, very. It's one of my favorite quotation. This one. I hope all the tongues that you are having that, which I already shared with you. It is said that here saying that what is the differences between the wise men and foolish men if they accumulated non-virtue? What are the differences? If we ask, most occasions we do things same, If the wise men accumulated non-virtue, And if the foolish man accumulated non-virtue, we do think that's the same, but it's not same. Here said that the wise one immediately purifies the evil deeds he has committed. If the wise man committed something, any kind of negative karma, killing, stealing, or maybe harming to other, any kind of something you've done, and then also he or she will recognize that what he or she did was wrong. So therefore, immediately try to purify that what he or she committed. And the evil deeds committed by full only becomes heaviest because they don't know how to purify negative karma. Maybe even after they committed negative karma, might they rejoice to it and then it will become more heavier. So they don't know how to confess, how to purify it. So therefore, the foolish one can become heaviest. It's very difficult to purify it. So here they give example. I think this quotation is by Basubandhu, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, this is I think that one of the it's appear in the Abhidharma text, as I remember. Here is the example. If an iron ball may be small, but it will sink deep. Example: if there's a very small iron ball, maybe the piece of ball, it looked like very small, but if you put into the surface of water, it will sink deep. It's not going to floating onto the surface of water. It will sink the deep. However, if it is made into a vessel, it will float it on the surface. If that kind of like the small, maybe the small same size of the bowl, if we make as a vessel or maybe make a pot, even it look like huge, it look like very big, but still it's going to be floating on the water. It's not going to sink. So therefore, if the foolish one accumulated even small with non-virtue, it's like an iron ball. It will sink down to the underneath of the water. If the wise men, even they committed heavier negative karma as like a big negative karma, like a pot, still he cannot be go lower realm. It cannot be sing because he know how to purify and how to do this, how to make confession for that what he did. So this is the differences. I hope you like this quotation. It's very nice. And this quotation is also applied by Jiten Sungwan that, sometimes also after becoming a monk and nun for some years, and then due to some incidents and sometimes also they disrobe, some monks also they disrobe and nuns also disrobe. And then also, then after they disrobe, because of their knowledge, because of their understanding of the law of karma, that what they learn in the monasteries or nunneries, and even at their disrobe, and then also if they committed something wrongdoing things, and they also still they know how to purify and how to confess those negative karma. This quotation also remember in the third, I think is this quotation also already covered in the last part of the third chapter in the Vinaya chapter. I hope you remember that. Okay, now the next one is the people claim that the Bodhisattva's accumulation focus on the lower realm. Some said that because there are many different ways how to accumulate merit, So, but some people say that there are many ways to accumulate merit, such as Bodhisattva. But then some say that the Bodhisattva, they always try to choose the object of the accumulation of merit. Particularly, they focus to the lower realm, such as like supporting to the animals realm and then hungry ghosts and and also the hell beings, and particularly they try to accumulate the merits, particularly they focus to the lower realms. But the Jigten Sumgon, he said that the marvelous, the practice is the yoga that is the gathering of inner accumulation. Let's call that, that is actually referring to the, what do you call that? Normally we do this, the chur, the chur practice. The chur is like the cutting through, isn't it? The cut. Usually we play damaru and then chur practice. This is particularly the Jigten Sumgon, his specialist of this chur is called kusali. The kusali means, kusali is the Sanskrit word. In Tibetan is the kusali means like beggar, like beggar, they do not have anything to offer to the Buddhas and Bodhisattva, or beggar do not have anything to giving away to the ordinary people. And being a beggar, or being most of the practitioners who remain in the isolated areas, like most of the Tibetan Mahasiddhas and Indian Mahasiddhas, most occasions they always spend their time into the mountain area, and so they do not have anything to offer to the Buddha and Bodhisattva. And in order to accumulate merit, and they do practice of chur practice, so that through the chur practice they can offer their body to the Buddhas and Bodhisattva. You know that I'm sure many of you already received teachings about chur. So chur is actually one's body also offering to the Buddhas and Bodhisattva, and also one's body also offering to the lower realm. So there are many visualizations about the chur practice. So therefore, the Jigten Sumgon, he said that the marvelous practice, the wonderful and very, very, the special practice of the to accumulation merit is that the yoga that is the gathering of inner accumulation. So inner accumulation means that depending on our own body, so that we can accumulate immense the merits. So actually there are four in the text also mentioned. There are different ways to accumulate the merit. The general accumulation of merit we call is the 5 different ways. We can accumulate merit depending on our guru, when we make offering to the guru, and then also we accumulate merit. And then also depending on our parents, and also we are supporting to our parents, because the parents also one of the very important role in our life. So they are one of the most kindest people on the earth is our parents. So therefore, that's also second field to accumulate merit. And then also another one is that holy places. So when we go to pilgrimage and such as the holy places, and then also making offering, and that is also one way, or one of the excellent field to accumulate merit, the holy place. And then also another object is that the sick people. So it is a good opportunity that when we meet sick people, and then also looking at the sick people also is spontaneously can arise the compassion, and then also it convinces us to support those sick people. So that's also one way of the field that we can accumulate merit. And then the 5th one is the Bodhisattva. So Bodhisattva and all the Sangha members, depending on the Bodhisattvas and depending on the Bhikshu and Bhikshuni, the Sangha member, also we can accumulate merit. So these are actually the 5 different ways, and then those the 5 are the field of that we can accumulate merit. And then also according to Tantrayana, there are actually 4 guests in order to accumulate merit. 4 guests. The first one is that guest of this 3 jewels that we call the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. That's what we call that whom we invited out of respect. because the Buddha and Dharma and Sanghas, so those are the object of respect. So we invited those, the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha out of our respect. So this is also our one guest that whom we can make offering so that we can accumulate merit, number one. And then the second one is that, second one is Gombo Yondang Yidon. Gombo Yondang Yidon means that the whom we invited the accounts of qualities. Gombo Yondang Yidon. Basically, those are referring to the Gombo Yondang Yidon, like the Dharma protectors, and then also like our the teachers and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, like those things are actually considered as like the accounts of qualities. And then the third one is that we invited those six beings, the six beings of the six realms, that out of our compassion, and we also invited those six realm-centered beings, and then also that's also another way of that we can accumulate merit. And then the last one is that the guest of the karmic death. And we also, because from our previous life, we do have many debts that whom we owe something to give. Like sometimes therefore we need to give a lot of, sometimes according to the Tantrayana, we have to make so many rituals, the performance, especially for the hungry ghosts and maras, like we call it lanchak torma, I think many of, I think that nowadays in Vietnam, they perform also lots of this kind of offering the tormas, offering to the nagas, offering to the hungry ghosts, offering to the maras. So thus we call that lenchak. Lenchak means something that whom we owe something from our previous life. Is called like karmic debt. We call like that. Yeah? So that's also one guest. So therefore, depending on the four guests that whom we invited in order to accumulate merit. So this is also another one way. So, but anyway, the Jigten Sumgon, he said that is the marvelous practice is that our inner the practice of that accumulation, which is the Kusali, the chur practice is the wonderful. So here also, okay, I think that's enough. Otherwise, I think it's quite difficult to cover all others. Vajra statement. Now the next one is Vajra statement. The 24th one is, it is said that the levels of samadhi between the path of accumulation and the 10th Bodhisattva stage are many, but the Vajra-like samadhi is only the samadhi of the final, the point of the 10th stage. The Vajra-like samadhi, the Tibetan we call Dorje Tabi Tingitsin. The samadhi is like a Vajra, which is like very undestroyable, unshakable one, which is one of the most powerful samadhi. Actually, there are thousands, the samadhi which has a different name, the samadhi of power, samadhi of clarity, the samadhi of like a king, Raja Samadhi, like that. There are many names. Anyway, some say that it is said that the level of samadhi between the path of accumulation, which is the out of the 5 paths, the first one is the path of accumulation, that we call Soklam. Accumulation is Sok, path is Lam. Soklam is the first path, and then up to the 10 Bodhisattva stages, there are many samadhis. When Bodhisattva they engage into the practice of Bodhisattva, and then when they reach at the first Bhumi level, second Bhumi level, third Bhumi level, they obtain different kind of clairvoyance, different kind of samadhi, different kind of the powers to fulfill other activities. So there are so many. Those are mentioned in the Bodhisattva's sutras, also mentioned in very detail. Even also in the the jewel ornament of liberation that composed by Gambopa. Also, they are mentioned what kind of qualities, what kind of samadhi the Bodhisattva obtained. Quite briefly, also mentioned in that in jewel ornament text also. But the Vajra-like samadhi is only the samadhi of the final point of the 10th stage. When Bodhisattva they reach at the point of the 10th stage, and then only they achieve or only they obtain the samadhi like a Vajra. Before that, they do have many different kind of samadhi they obtain, but not the samadhi like a Vajra. This is some other people the view. So therefore, some also texts mention that when our Buddha Shakyamuni also, when he meditated under the Bodhi tree, and then also at the last stage of the 10th Bodhisattva Bhumi, and then also he obtained the samadhi like a Vajra and destroyed the subtle obscuration of knowledge of object, and then also the second moment, and then he achieved, he obtained the Buddhahood. That is actually some texts also mentioned like that. But here Jigten Songkhon, he said that all samadhi is combined into one as the Vajra-like samadhi. But Jigten Songkhon, he tried to explain and try to emphasize that ultimately there are no differences in the nature of samadhis. The nature of these samadhis are the same. The samadhi, the key role of the samadhi is without distractions. If our mind is distracted by any causing conditions, and that we cannot say this is samadhi. The basic samadhi meaning is that if we manage to remain in such a stage without having any kind of like distractions, so that is the main characteristic of the samadhi. That is the main definition for the samadhi. So therefore, more or less, that's very important, you know, the more or less all kind of the samadhi, no matter the first samadhi of the first Bodhisattva stage, or second or third, up to the 10th Bodhisattva level, all kinds of the samadhi are actually combined into the like a Vajra like a samadhi, because those samadhis are unshakable by any kind of negative thoughts. Those samadhis are without, they are remaining in such a state of without any distractions. So therefore, Jigten Songkhon said that ultimately all samadhi are combined into the Vajra-like samadhi. So there are no differences. Remember that the previous Vajra statement that all the practice is they apply as the same, that whatever they started to practice at the level of accumulation path, that for mindfulness, and then also same kind of for mindfulness they just develop, and from the Bodhisattva stage, and then the Buddha achieve enlightened mind in the form of the four mindfulness. Remember that when I mentioned earlier time, similar to this way also the Vajra-like samadhi is similar to this way. Here also one quotation also mentioned from the sutra, the son of the noble family, as I mentioned. Among all the precious jewels, for example, the Vajra is supreme. You know, there are many precious jewels like gold, silver, diamond, and all these are actually considered as a precious jewel. But for example, the Vajra is the supreme one, the excellent one. Vajra is like a diamond, you know, the diamond is one of the most expensive one, you know. So therefore, Vajra is the supreme. Similarly, Vajra-like samadhi attained by the great Bodhisattva is like that. As like the diamond is the very precious and supreme one. Similar to that way, the Vajra-like samadhi is also same, that who the great Bodhisattva also like that. Okay, now the next Vajra statement, the 25th, is there are many systems according to the which mantra is the fourth basket and so on. Okay, so there are many systems according to the which mantra is. That means there are actually 3 baskets. Usually we say that the baskets of Vinaya, baskets of Sutra, and baskets of Abhidharma. And some people say that the Tantrayana is the basket of Sutra. Some people say that the Tantra belongs to the Abhidharma basket. And some say that no, the Tantra basket is something different, is not belonging to the 3 basket, is another one separately. So therefore, consider as the 4th basket. So there are so many views, so many different ways to explain by the different masters. But the Jiten Sangwan, he said that mantra is all the 3 baskets and the essence of all 3. Reason why the Jiten Sangwan, he says that because in order to achieve the higher the vows, example, Vinaya vow, Bodhisattva vow, and Tantra vows. In order to receive Bodhisattva vow, one need to depend on the Vinaya vow. Without having the Vinaya vow, one cannot achieve. In a sense, Vinaya vow means we should not be actually confused, because when we talk about the Vinaya, there are 7 different types of the Vinaya vow, and then even if you have the Upasika and Upasika vow, that is also considered in the part of the Vinaya vow. So therefore, in order to obtain the Bodhisattva vow, one need to obtain any of the Pratyamoksha vow as a foundation. And then in order to obtain the Tantrayana vow, and then the practitioner must obtain as a foundation the Bodhisattva vow. Without obtaining the Bodhisattva vow, one cannot obtain the Tantra vow. So therefore, the Tantra is one of the topmost, the vow, but it's still depending on the others, the vows. So therefore, Jiten Sangwan said that the Tantra, the vow belong to all 3 baskets. And then also the Tantra vow is the essence of the all 3 baskets. So that means that basically, what do you call that? The Tantra basket belong to the all 3 the baskets. We no need to consider as a separate the basket, which not belong to the 3 baskets. Is just essence of the 3 baskets is the Tantrayana, because the epileptic emotions or obscurations which cannot be abandoned by the 3 baskets, like a subtle epileptic emotions. Subtle epileptic emotions can be abandoned by the practice of Tantrayana. So therefore, the Tantrayana, the basket is essence of the all 3 baskets. That's what I mean to say. Now the next one is the people claim that the 26th of chapter, the people claim that the empowerment of the mantra can be bestowed, but not obtained, and not bestowed, but obtained. Some say that there are 2 ways. The empowerment is mantra can be bestowed, but not obtained. Example, like we ordinary people, maybe example, let's say that the person who has no knowledge about Tantrayana, if he or she receiving the empowerment from any master, any Rinpoche, the master is bestowing the empowerment or conferring the empowerment, yet he or she cannot obtain because he or she do not know all the procedures of the empowerment. Therefore, the mantra can be bestowed, but not obtained. There are this kind of extremes are there. And then also they say, and not bestowed, but obtained. And then also those the highest the capacity, the disciples or or practitioner, even the Vajra master, without bestowing the empowerment, they can obtain the empowerment. And then so there's a three types. One, bestowed but not obtained. That's the one. And then no bestow but the obtained. And then the third extreme is no bestow and no obtained. So that's also called there's three types of the procedures of the empowerment according to mantra exists. Though some people they believe. But Jiten Songwan, he said that even if gnosis arose in the mental continuum, a ritual is necessary since the teachings of the lineage are profound. Actually, there are the reason why some people they try to explain as this three ways is that because there are three different capacities among the disciples. One is the inferior, the lower capacity, and then also medium capacity, and then highest capacity. There are three, is always there. And then the lower capacity one, even they try to bestow the empowerment, still they do not obtain. So this is the lower capacity. And then the medium one is that even if we bestow the empowerment, without bestowing the empowerment, they do not obtain the empowerment. So therefore, obtained by bestowing the empowerment. That is the second one, which is the middle class one, middle capacity. And then the highest capacity one is that without bestowing the empowerment, that whom can obtain the empowerment. That's the third, the highest level, superior one, not the inferior one. The superior, the highest capacity one can obtain like that. But the Jiten Somu, he said that no matter, we no need to think about that different ways of obtaining the empowerment. But the most important is that no matter the superior one or inferior one or the middle one, the different capacity, the most important thing is that the ritual is necessary. Even though the superior, the capacity one, without bestowing the empowerment, he or she might obtain the empowerment, still he or she need to, depending on the rituals of all the rituals of the procedures of the empowerment, that first we need to request to the master, and then also other master also they also accepted to confer empowerment, and then also accordingly we have to. There are many procedures, the blind. We have to cover our eyes, and then also that we also have to, depending on the different substances, to bestowing the empowerment, like vast empowerment, cigarette empowerment, vast empowerment time. We need to the vast need to put on our head. Cigarette empowerment time. We need to sip the nectar, and the third empowerment like that. So all these the rituals are very necessary. The reason why I'm saying is that because the teachings of the lineage are very profound. Remember, I already explained earlier time, if you remember, all the teaching has to have a lineage. Lineage also I explained there's four, remember? All the dharma has to have transmission. All the transmission have to combine with the pit instructions. All the pit instruction has to be combined with the blessings, and all the blessings has to be combined with the lineages. Without lineages, it can be any not authentic text. So therefore, Jiten Sangma, he always focusing on then the lineage are very profound. So from the lineage guru, from Vajradhara to up to our root guru, that's very important. Now the next one is 27. The people claim that the deeds of the three kayas are ascertained as three. It is certain. Ascertained means it is sure that there are three kayas like Dharmakaya, Nirmanakaya, Sambhavakaya. So there's a three deeds of the three kayas ascertained as three. So that means there are three different ways. There are three different kind of kayas, according to the Tantrayana. There are in the form of Dharmakaya, in the form of Sambhogakaya, in the form of Nirmanakaya, like a Buddha Shakyamuni, in the form of Nirmanakaya, and Avalokiteshvara and Manjushri. Those deities are in the form of Sambhogakaya. And then also the Kuntu Sangbo, Samanta Bhatra, in the form of Dharmakaya, like that way. So there are the three deeds and the three kayas are certain as exists like that. But the Jigten Songmun, he said that a solitary deity to accomplishing all the deities. Remember that we already explained about this. Each of the kaya, each of the kaya, like Dharmakaya, also have other two. The Dharmakaya of Sambhogakaya, Dharmakaya of Nirmanakaya, and then Sambhogakaya of Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya of Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya. Remember, we already mentioned earlier time. So that means that even the single deities can accomplish all the activities with not necessity to have there's too many different deities. Even the single deity can accomplish all the activities of like in the activities. All activity means peace activities, increasing activities, and power activities, and wrathful activities. There are actually 4 activities according to the Tantrayana. So in order to fulfill all this activities, some people, they say that, oh, in order to fulfill this activity, you have to depending on particular this deity. In order to fulfill this activity, you have to depending on that deity. So some people, they say like that, but Jigten Songmun said that even the solitary means the single deity to accomplish all the activities. Remember, we already mentioned earlier time, in the nature of the emptiness is Dharmakaya. The nature of the clarity is Sambhogakaya. The nature of the unity of emptiness and clarity is Nirmanakaya. Remember that we already mentioned earlier time. So therefore, the one single deity can accomplish all the activities of the deity. That is how the meaning is like that. And now the next one is, the people claim that every deity possesses individual marks. This is also a very interesting one. The people claim that every deity possesses individual marks, means like, that's some people will say, oh, Amitayu is the deity of long life, Zambala is the deity of wealth, and Vajrasattva is the deity to purify all our obscuration or negative karma. And then also, there are many hundreds of deities. So most occasion we do believe that those deities are possessing individual different marks, individual different quality, individual different activities. So therefore we need to depending on those different deities. The single deity is not sufficient. So therefore sometimes we have to display many deities in order to fulfill different activities. So they were saying like that, but here Atisha also said something similar to that one, but they were saying something like that. This is usually some master, I hear from some master. Means the Tibetan peoples they become poor of accomplishing nothing. Because the Tibetan are poor from accomplishing any deities, 100 deities, they said, because they are practicing 100 deities, this purpose, that purpose, that purpose, that purpose, different purpose. They are practicing different deities and try to accomplish, but at the end, they do not accomplish any single deity, because they cannot focus on particular deity. And the Indian people or Indian master or whatever, they accomplish by single deity. Maybe they are just depending on one single deity, or maybe like He Vajra, or maybe like only Vajra Kilaya, or maybe Chakra Sambhava. They just focus on one single deity, and then they accomplish everything as a one. Okay. I think the similar quotation also here mentioned here. The Tibet is poor due to its many deities. Adisha also mentioned, yeah. The Tibet is poor due to its many deities. At the same time, when one establishes the practice of one chosen deity and invite its gnosis being by inviting any deities one wish in the form of one chosen deity. The chosen deity means that whatever you like, which deity you have, especially your karmic connection, maybe Tara, Avalagurusha, whatever your chosen deity. So if you choose one deity to practice, and then you can accomplish all deity. You don't need to accomplish this and that and this and that. I think that is quite something like that, you know. If you try to learn one particular text, and then maybe you will be master about one particular example. Like if you try to learn about Madhyamika philosophy, and then maybe you will become a great, the knowledgeable person about Madhyamika. If you try to learn that one, if you try to learn everything, and of course, might you know this and this little bit, but then you are not expert of all these fields. So therefore, it is important that we try to focus on particular the topic would be good. There I saw somewhere. in New Delhi in India somewhere, where there was one quote that he put on the wall. No one can learn everything. Everyone can learn one thing, or something like that. You know, no one can learn everything, but no one can everything, and everyone can learn something, or something mentioned like that. So therefore, it's good that we try to focus on particular deity. That would be good, I think. So here, Jiten Sumgon also, Dharmakirti also mentioned here, he gave 3 reasons for that. He said that the chosen deity that possesses the marks of all deities, as the Jiten Sumgon he view. The chosen deity is that particular whatever you choose to practice, that possesses all the marks of the deities. And number 1 is, he said that the qualities of the results of separation and maturation, one possess that measure and manner marks. So that all the deities, Avalagurusha, Manjushri, Long Amitayu, whatever, all the deity, they do have the quality of the measure and manner marks equally. So therefore, that could be the reason number 1. And then the second reason is that the name XL1, we call it like Bhagavan, Bhagavan, the Buddha. So it's the same. All the deities they are holding the same name as a Bhagavan, like Buddha. All they are Buddha. So there's no differences. So that could be the second reason. And then the third reason is that he said this, when any deity is supplicated, when we make supplication, the blessing that arises are similarly only one. If we try to make supplication to any deities, Avalagurusha, Manjushri, whatever, and then also we do receive the blessing. The blessings arises similarly. So therefore, because of the 3 reasons, so Jiten Sumgon said that we can just try to focus on one particular deity. Example, the Dharmakirti that who composed this, the commentary, the first reincarnation of His Holiness Chungzam, his personal deity is Yamantaka. So therefore, he is very, very powerful, and then he can show many different kind of miracles, the power that because he accomplished the deity of Yamantaka. I think I already mentioned last time. And then and his eminence also told Rinpoche that recently we celebrated, but he's also great the practitioner of Yamantaka. And then also there's some like example like the Sakyapa, they are actually very specialized in the Vajrakilaya. So therefore, actually the lineage, they do have particular deity. In the Kagyupa, like Chakrasambhava is a very special deity, they're chosen deity, Chakrasambhava and Vajra. And then in the Gilupa school, the Guya Samanja is something very special. And Nyingmapa also like Vajrakilaya also is their special deities. So yeah, like that. Now the next Vajra statement is the 29. The people claim that the Samaya is permitted in the mantra of the 4 occasions. The 4 occasion means that there's the 4 occasion means Kriya Tantra, Chagyu, Kriya Tantra, Charya Tantra, Chagyu, and then Yoga Tantra, Najolgyu, Anu Yoga Tantra, Najol Lamek, Anu Yoga Tantra. So there are 4 schools or 4 schools of 4 empowerment, not 4 empowerment, Gyuji, 4 tantras, sorry. The 4 occasion means actually at the time of the 4 tantras, the Samaya is permitted. Samaya is permitted means actually, according to the Tantrayana, and some people say that, oh, the Samaya, such as like, depending on the, like when we are practicing of the 3rd empowerment, and then also, or you allow to have your concert as like Dakini. So therefore, if you are practicing that kind of empowerment, that kind of like the Tantra, and then you do allow to do all this kind of activity, and then you do allow to drink alcohol. Example, when you are receiving the cigarette empowerment, and then you do allow to consuming alcohol, something like that. So different occasions, and then that Samaya is permitted. But Jiten someone said that on the 4 occasions, there is no occasion where Samaya is permitted. Even like according to the Tantrayana, most occasions we do think, oh, I'm a practitioner of Tantrayana. I do allow to have the concert. I do allow to have. I do allow to marry because I am practicing Tantrayana. According to Tantrayana, so it's permitted, and so therefore they do all these sort of things. Oh, I'm a practitioner of Tantrayana, so therefore I do allow to drink alcohol. I'm a practitioner of Tantrayana, so therefore I do allow to wear all this ornament. Something that mentioned. So therefore, people, they just jump into practicing like that without knowing the subtle meaning and whether they allow or not allow. That is very important. So according to Tantrayana, it's very clearly mentioned that unless and until you are really fully kind of obtain such a inner realizations, and until and unless till that you are not allowed to perform all these kind of activities. You're not just by receiving the empowerment, it does not mean that you're allowed to do everything. So is I think we already mentioned that if you have the power to have the if you are master of, there are 4 different kind of joys. Now we don't have time to explain, and then the joys are, you have to know the embodiment of those bliss are embodiment of luminosity, and then of course then you do allow to have concert, and then also if you have a power to transform those alcohol into nectar, then of course you do allow to, and unless you reach that level, you are not allowed to do anything that is mentioned. He has also said that, Dhammakirti said that if the master is fully ordained monk and so forth, the secret empowerment, and if the disciple is fully ordained monk and so forth, or has not mastered the channels and winds and discriminated knowledge, empowerment are bestowed according to the path of liberation. It's very important. So he is saying that if you are ordinary monk, if you are, the ordained monk, and if you are not really mastered by your channels and winds, and then according to this Tantrayana secret practices, and then what shall I do? So then Jiten Sumgon said that you allow to practice only the path of liberation. It is very important. According to Tantrayana, so there is two ways of practices. One is, we call that Chaglam. Chaglam means the practice of desire. It's very important to know. The practice of desire. The second one is practice of liberation. The practice of desire means that, example, up to the Gampopa, and like Milarepa, Marpalosawa, and then his teacher Naropa and Tilopa, and all this, the lineage master, they are the followers of the practice of the path of desire. Because actually they since they are not monk, they are not ordained monk, they are practicing the Tantrayana, and they are actually the master on these channels and winds and bindu. So therefore they are following actually to that kind of practices, having a concert and also consuming alcohol, all this, and then also wearing the robes such as like Nakpa dress, like white clothes and things. So therefore, till the Gampopa, they are Chalampa, following the path of desire. It's very important to know that one. And then also after the Gampopa, and then also his disciple Pamodroba and Jiten Sumgon, and all these disciples we call it Dolampa. Dolam means since they are monk, since they are ordained monk, they are not allowed to, of course they do allow to practice Tantrayana, but they cannot practice as like how the previous master they follow as a desire path. Then they can practice as the path of liberation, Dolampa. And then they can do, example, even the concert, example, like when we are receiving the third empowerment, of course, there is the third empowerment is depending on that also, we have to have kind of like Dakini. At that occasion, if you are ordained monk, we have to visualize. We no need to have a physical like Dakini. Actually, there are a certain occasion in the Tantrayana, Vajra master need to give the Dakini to the disciples. But if you are ordained monk or nun, whatever, and then also you can visualize having that kind of deity. I think also here mentioned that one. Furthermore, the empowering bestowed through the path of liberation, since it is taught, the must make a proper distinction. Where is that? Ordained monks of first empowerment, if the disciple fully ordained monk, so for as not master. Yeah, he has said that are bestowed according to the path of liberation. They are not bestowed according to the path of desire, and they are bestowed with visualization and words, isn't it? The visualization, then we have to visualize that the concert, and then also all the joys and everything we have to visualize, but we are not allowed to actually to have that kind of concert. This is very important to know these two paths, desire path, and then liberation path, Chaglam and Dolam, we call Tibet. Okay. Now the next one is Vajra statement, the 38. Some say that it is not possible to fully engage into the deity right from the beginning. One engage into the visualization gradually. Some said that it is not possible to fully engage in the deity. You're not allowed to engage directly, just visualize yourself as a deity. You cannot engage directly, first you have to visualize that you are all this universal as a pure land, and then all sentient beings you have to visualize as a Dakayin, Dakini, and then also accordingly, then last stage you have to visualize yourself as a deity. You cannot visualize directly. That is, some people say that, some say that it's not possible to fully engage into the deity right from the beginning. You must have to go those stages, that first external one, then inner sentient beings, and then the last stage you have to visualize yourself as a deity. It is visualization gradually, step by step. But Jiten Sungmun said that the engage instantaneously in the deity is a profound vital point. That is Jiten Sungmun, his meant to say is that is a totally depend on the practitioner. If we have an authentic guru that who can introduce yourself as a deity, if the disciples also is very authentic one, and then because of this, the cause and conditions comes together, was an excellent master and excellent disciple, and then one can engage instantaneously within the single moment. One can visualize, or one can accomplish the deity. That would be the very profound one. That would be the very excellent one. But to do so, that one need to have all these cause and condition need to come together. Here, Jiten Sungmun said that this is also very wonderful, very quotation. Not to arise even for a single moment as an ordinary body, speech, and mind is the vow of awareness holder. The performing the play of the 9 moods is the actual essence of the Buddha of the 3 times. So this that now is a kind of like long quotation. To become a Buddha in the supreme awakening as a Hiruka, that glorious Vajra body, isn't a great marvel. So he said that if you manage to, the meaning is that actually if you manage to visualize in a moment such a deity like a Hiruka, isn't it? Is it a very glorious Vajra body? Isn't it wonderful and marvelous? So that means Jiten Sungmun, he said that if we manage to engage instantaneously that in the form of deity, that would be great. That's depending on, again, whether you have such a capacity or not. Then now the 31 is the people claim that no stabilize the stage of cultivation. The chief thing is the number of recitations. Okay. Okay. Again, some say that according to the Mantrayana, the Tantrayana also said that the recitation, the mantra is very important to accomplish such a deity. You have to recite like 400,000, 100,000, and then the mantra of the retinues you have to recite 10,000. Like example, like when we do the practice of like Vajra. So the main deities, the mantra recitation we have to do for 400,000, and then for the retinues, the mantras, and then we have to recite only 10,000 numbers of the recitation. So therefore, in order to do the cultivation of the stage of the deity, so this recitation of the mantras are very important. Some people say like that. But Jiten Sungmun, he said that one must know how to accomplish the deity through the gathering of depending origination. The numbers of recitations are important. If you do not know that is the gathering of dependent origination, that how we generate the deities, and then how do we have to make a connection with the deity and oneself. If you do not know all these things are in details of the cause and conditions, such as interdependent origination, and then one cannot accomplish the deity. So therefore, it is important that in the Gongchig Doje Sherab, the largest the commentary also mentioned that there are 3 steps. The first one is that we have to, the cause is that we have to accomplish right from the beginning that we are embodiment of the deity. That is the cause. And then the condition is that our Vajra master give the introduction, that when the Vajra master bestowing the empowerment, so that means the Vajra master is giving an introduction that you are, the nature of body is embodiment of the deity. So that is the cause is that we are already born as an embodiment of deity. That's the cause. The condition is the introduction from the Vajra master. And then because of these cause and conditions, and then the reflection of our mind that we arise as in the form of deity. So this is these 3 things are very important in the role of accomplishing the deities. So that's the Vajiten one he meant to say. Now the next one is the people claim that ascetic, the practice are the abuse of the deities. Some say that some claim that the ascetic practice means that in order to achieve Buddhahood, or in order to achieve certain samadhi, in order to achieve certain qualities, and then some people they do believe that we need to do a lot of hardship practices, like our Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, he did ascetic practice for the 6 years, the 6 years that without drinking, without having any drinks and food. So Buddha Shakyamuni himself also, he depending on the ascetic the practice that, and then also some also texts did mention that if you really wanted to achieve Buddhahood, you have to do the practice of ascetic practice, such as like Nyungne. Nyungne also is the practice of similar one. The fasting retreat is also part of the ascetic practice. So there's some say there's the abusing of the deity, because we already visualize oneself also as a deity. So that if you still keep practicing of this ascetic practice, and that's you are abusing the deities. You're abusing the deities. So therefore, many the Vajra masters, so they keep long hair. They don't cut their hair. They don't cut their nails. So that is they are believing that their hair is not cutting, because there are actually many the deities remain on their hairs. So therefore, is not allowed to cut without performing some ritual ceremony for the cutting ceremony. So that's the reason why they keep long hair while they're doing the 3 years retreat. But the Jigten Sungmun also said that applying ascetic practices and so forth to the ordinary body depletes it. So Jigten Sungmun also said that is the ascetic practice and so forth is the ordinary body, so that we try to beat our body, if we try to, without eating and without drinking, if we just try to do these kind of practices, that's also not really good. The reason why I'm saying is that because main important of the practice is that no matter whether Tantra Yana or Sutra Yana, we have to, all the practices we have to deal with our mind. Ultimately, we have to subdue our our mind, and we have to tame our mind. We have to train our mind. That is the basic, the meaning of the practices of the Sutra Yana and Tantra Yana. Here also Dharmakirti, he quote one of this is very, very important, the teachings from the Buddhist, Shantideva Buddhist Chara Avatara. He said that apart from the observance of the guiding the mind, what do the many others observance accomplish? So the meaning is that apart from observing our mind, apart from dealing with our mind, what do we need? Other practices. No need any kind of other practices apart from dealing, apart from guiding our mind from obscurations. So that's the main practice. That's therefore the most important is that we have to tame our mind is the key role of the practice of the Tantra Yana. So therefore, no need to abuse our body, no need to, not necessary to do the practice of ascetic practices. So important is that we have to subdue our mind. Now the next, the 33 Vajra statement is the people claim that of the four Tantra classes, the earlier three are not profound. Earlier three means Kriya Tantra, Charya Tantra, Yoga Tantra. These three the tantras are not profound because they are of the meaning requiring the further interpretation. They do need to have a lot of meaning interpretation, lots of explanation, need to emphasize more in detail. So therefore, these are more kind of conventional level. The three tantras are not really ultimate one. While the supreme class is like supreme class means that Anuyoga Tantra, like highest Tantra, the supreme one is the profound, because since it is of the definite meaning. The Anuyoga Tantra is the only highest or only supreme Tantra. So that is the only definite meaning, and all others three tantras are indefinite meaning. So therefore, the people trying to say that is that we always need to depending on the highest or supreme Tantra Yana, the Tantra Yana, that is the more the excellent one or more powerful one, and they are more emphasize. They are trying to emphasize on the supreme class is one. But he said that no matter if the level is a meaning requiring the further interpretation or a definite meaning, the details, the rituals are necessary for all. So Jiten Sumon said that no matter what kind of Tantra you are practicing, either Charya Tantra, Kriya Tantra, Yoga Tantra, Anuyoga Tantra, the most important thing is that whether it is definite meaning or indefinite meaning, whatever, the most important thing is that we have to follow in details of the rituals are necessary. The details rituals are necessary. That means, example, when we are receiving empowerment, first we need to purify the ground. You know that when we are making the empowerment time, actually we have to first purify the land, and then we have to make the mandala, and then after we complete mandala, then we need to make a preparation, and then there are actually preparation for the mandala, preparation for the disciples. There's so many the procedures are there. So the details, rituals of the procedures are very, very important in the case of all the Tantra Yanas classes. That is what someone mean to say. Okay, now the next one is the Vajra statement. The 34 is the people claim that concerning the empowerment, one must enter the gate of the details, rituals of the beginning. Okay. Some say that the concerning the empowerment, one must enter the gate of the details of the rituals. Some say that everyone whoever receiving the empowerment, they need to enter the gate of the details, as we mentioned earlier. We need to purify the land and the mandala and the disciple. There are so many procedures. You need to enter into all the detailed rituals from the beginning. But then he said that, yes, of course, it is important to have all these detailed rituals, the procedures of the empowerment. But he said that the chiefly for those who are already tamed, summarize the ritual is also accepted. It's not necessary. Maybe those who already tamed, those who already understood everything in detail, those who already have some kind of like habitual tendency, those who already received that kind of empowerment in earlier time. So for them is the summarized one, very short one. The conferring the empowerment in the short one is actually accepted, not necessarily to go through everything in a detail, because he already temped one, because he already have already understood everything in detail. So therefore, we no need to go through again in detail. So what Jigten Sungpa meant to say is that we have to depending on the depending on the different occasions, what level we are, and then if the guru is very supreme guru, and then if the disciple is also very supreme, and then we no need to go detail because they already understood everything in detail. So that's what Jigten Sungpa he meant to say. Now the 35 is the people claim that concerning the will of protection, the wrathful deities, Vajra boundaries, and so forth are profound. Sometimes say that in order to practice Tantrayana, we do need to have a protection. So therefore, most occasions we always wear some different kind of amulets for a protection. And then according to the Tantrayana, when we do the practice of like Yamantaka, and sometimes we have to visualize the Vajra boundary, and then also the fire boundary, and then also the fence of that kind of the fire or Vajra, or so many different kind of the protections that we have to visualize. So some people said that this kind of and then also remember when we are making the mandala, so there's also the many purpa means the Vajra Kilaya also need to have there. Those are the symbolic of the 10 wrathful, the deity that can be protect those practitioners. Like that way. So some people, they believe that kind of the Vajra boundaries and wrathful deities and the fence of that fires, and those are the very profound. We do need to have that one. But the Jigten Sungpa, he said that the marvelous will of protection is the more of bodhicitta. That's there. Jigten Sungpa said that if we manage to have the practice of bodhicitta, the marvelous will of protection, we do not need any kind of other protections of the Vajra boundaries and fire boundaries. We don't need to have all of these things. If we have the genuine practice of the will of protection is the bodhicitta. If we manage to have a genuine bodhicitta and compassion, and that is the absolute protection, we don't need any others one. Therefore, I'm sure many of you already knew about the Jigten Sungpa. Also, at the beginning of the refuge prayer, also he said that may all sentient beings who are my countless mothers, and especially the enemies who hate me, obstructor who cause harm, and all those who are causing hindrances to the liberation of the omniscience. The Jigten Sungpa at the beginning of the refuge prayer, he said that I'm cultivating bodhicitta for countless mothers, but especially to the enemies. If you manage to extend your loving kindness and compassion to those enemies and those obstacles, then everyone can become your friend. If everyone can become your friend, then who will going to be harm for you? So then no one can harm. So that is the same case that when Buddha Shakyamuni was meditating under the Bodhi tree, of course, many Maras, they try to harm to the Buddha. They throw many stones and weapons and things, and all those things are appear as like flowers, become as flowers. And those Mara cannot harm to the Buddha. The reason is that time the Buddha Shakyamuni, he was meditating in the state of loving kindness. So because of the power of the loving kindness, and then those Maras cannot harm to Buddha, or whatever they are throwing the weapons become flowers. So this is the power of the loving kindness. So the Jiten Sungman also, he said that the marvelous, the will of protection is the bodhicitta. So other than bodhicitta, there is no greater protection. So bodhicitta is the excellent one. And then also there are many stories that all if someone has a genuine bodhicitta, and all those wild animals also can come surrounded by those masters. There are many examples like that. Okay, this is the very, very important also teachings. Okay, so now I would like to end up our 14 sessions here, and then also we will meet next Friday, which is going to be the last session for this Gongchig. And of course, I do receive some requests that continue for this teaching, and then let's see for the next session will be our last, but not the least. So, okay, so here I would like to conclude our lesson, and then also join for the dedication prayers with me. Okay.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Good night. Take care.
Thank you so much.
See you.
Very good lesson.
Thank you very much, Genla.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. It was nice seeing all of
Bye,
you.
Khenpo.
Thank you, brother too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you.
Take care. Thank you, Khenpo. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
all
I'm
of
going
you.
to thank you.
Amitabha.
Thank you, Amitabha. Have a good rest, good sleep. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you on next Friday. It will be the last lesson for this series of teaching. But of course, Khenpo can choose to continue if there's a request. So please make sure you come with a request. We'll see you on next Friday. All right. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Good night.